Yo, what's happening guys, King GBL here, and welcome back to a brand new Great League video. Today I'm going to be showcasing another very strong team in the Great League, featuring Sableye, Registeel and Lickitung. Very strong team in this meta. As I've mentioned in previous videos, Sableye just such a great neutral lead, unless of course you're going to run into a bunch of Charmers, which of course definitely will happen at some point. Then we have Registeel and Lickitung in the back, just very neutral Pokemon into the meta, and as I've mentioned, I'm quite a big fan of Registeel this season, and with how much it core breaks a lot of teams. Guys, with this team I got up all the way to 2997 elo. However, unfortunately, after getting to there, I just went on an insane losing streak. Believe it or not, guys, I lost 11 games in a row. I had a 0-5, I had 2 back-to-back 0-5s. I ended up all the way back down to, like, honestly, guys, 2690 elo at one point. I was changing the team, and no matter what I changed to, it just would not work. I basically would have hit Legend if I had have won one more match in one of these sets, or of course winning or losing against up pairs and down pairs, 3 points away from Legend, and ended up dropping all the way down to 2690 or something like that. I've started using a different team, which I'm going to showcase tomorrow, which did get me up from like 2690 to like 2750 or something. But yeah, it's been pretty insane stuff for the last couple of days. I guess today's question of the day is, how do you think the Great League is at the minute? I'm seeing an awful lot of RPS lines like Double Fire, Double Grass, Double Water, or the Skarmory line with Whiscash. A lot of teams that have like Skarmory lead with Polly in the back, like ABA weak to Lantern, ABA weak to Grass teams. Definitely the Great League's in a very interesting position. Of course, with last season's meta, we had a lot of Medicham, right? Everything basically revolved around it. You were trying to beat it, or you were trying to use it, or you were trying to use whatever beats Medicham. So it was a bit of a funny one last season. I do think this season's Great League is very RPS, because we've got a lot of fire types in the meta, which inherently is RPS. We've got fire types, Lantern, Skarmory. It's basically like an RPS circle with the Mud Boys. So generally, I feel like most of the teams are very brain dead these days. There's a lot of teams that are ABA weak to Lantern, ABA weak to Grass, ABB to Lantern, but also ABA weak to Grass. Let me know in the comments down below your thoughts on the Great League this season. Anyway guys, this team was cooking. I was using a variation of this team with Annihilate in the lead. I decided to switch it into Sableye, because I reckon it just has a little bit more sort of pressure into a lot of things. Getting those faster charge moves, and of course the Shadow Claw damage, very big. This team here so far is Vigoroth and Sableye, so it's probably normal double ghost. Quite an interesting team here. I guess the Vigoroth is in the lead to defeat the Lickitungs, right? Because it does quite well there. However, 3 body slams from Lickitung gets it quite low, and the opponent can't really store up a bunch of energy in this matchup. As you can see, we're already quite low health, but we're putting in a lot of work with Licky, and guys, honestly guys, I'm so sick of Lickitung. Let me know if you guys like this Pokemon or not. I'm so sick of seeing it here. I decide to come into Registeel. We resist all of the charge moves. The counters don't do that much damage, and the opponent realizes we're getting a huge energy lead. They come into Trevenant, and basically 2 Zap Cannons from Registeel will take out a Trevenant. I'm pretty much happy to shield up this first move here, I think, and just go ahead and look to try and pry the shield away from the opponent. The great thing is here we have a Foul Play banked on the Sableye, so all we need to do is go for the snipe. This will just about not KO the Trevenant, but we have banked a little bit of energy in the Registeel as well. We get the Simul KO, which is best case scenario. This can throw 5 body slams, and I still don't think it would KO, so this is going to be basically good games, folks. Whenever this team was catching normalish teams, it was working super well. As I've mentioned before, unless you're getting Wigglytuff leads, Sableye's super neutral lead can hang in and have play against basically anything in the meta. Even some of the less positive leads like Azu is still very playable. You can look to go for returns, try to make the opponent throw in bad timing, and in this next match we get a Trevenant lead. Couldn't ask for any better. The opponent comes into a Gligar, and I'm going to go ahead and throw a Foul Play here. Now, I do have 2 answers to Trevenant in Sableye and Licky, so I do want to chip this and just basically guarantee that I get switch advantage. Gligar is definitely a Pokemon that I want to get out of the way from my Registeel. Super happy to see it here in the swap. However, it could be maybe double Mud Boy, so maybe this is going to still be quite tricky, right? So let's have a look and see how this goes. The opponent lets it go. We don't really have a lot of energy, but the opponent comes into a Stunfisk. Very interesting here. This Pokemon's a little bit tricky, because we're in the 2-2 shields, and this Pokemon can basically beat Reggie. They go for the Earthquake, they come into the Trevenant, and that actually does give me half a chance here. I think we're going to just absolutely lick the life out of this thing and come into our Sableye. The opponent does get a pretty decent overfarm, and I think what I decide to do here is try to shield once and farm the whole way down. I'm pretty sure the opponent banked an Earthquake, so it's looking a little bit sticky icky, but we farm it the whole way down, just as they were about to get to the move, and we do go straight for the Foul Play. I believe I do deny the opponent here. Yeah, so they could have won for CMP, they just decide to give up. They don't know what's in the back. That game was definitely not over. However, if I kept shielding or called a Rock Slide bait, you know, it was pretty much over for them there. But that was definitely a little bit scary. We were going to start prying shields away from the opponent, and I was just basically hoping, like, I know my Reggie can tank an Earthquake. I was hoping I can get rid of the shields and look to go for basically a Focus Blast. Now, in comes the Azu lead. What I like to do is build up to 10. Hopefully the opponent sticks to good timing. If they throw this off immediately, it gets a little bit awkward for you, and I try to catch after they get to 8 bubbles, right? 10 Shadow Claws is 7 bubbles, and then if you do 1 more Shadow Claw, they'll do 1 more bubble, which is good timing, and hopefully they go for the catch. The opponent comes into a Stinky Binky, which not really expecting to see that. This team is very weak to Lickitung and Registeel, especially Registeel. Guys, if you've heard me say it once, you've heard me say it 1,000 times. People do not respect Reggie. I'm not going to bang on about it. I bang on it about it every video. Guys, listen, this is the last time, right? People do not respect this Pokemon. I'm telling you now. I'm telling you now. Look at this team. ABA weak to Reggie. People don't respect it, right? A lot of my success this season has been recognizing that people are not respecting this Pokemon and just taking full advantage of it. The opponent comes back into their Azu, which is a little bit of a play here. Of course, they don't want to get farmed down. I'm going to like to go for a Focus Blast and farm down, which is just, you know, even worse for them. And the opponent's going to come into a Trevenant, so this is basically a good game as well played. We're going to look to go for the Zap Cannon. The opponent's farming up here, and we're going to come into the Sableye. Now, ladies and gentlemen, go to school, learn how to count. This is not 7, this is only 6. Why would I shield that? Why would I shield a Seed Bomb? Good game as well played. We're going to farm them the whole way down. When you're in these positions, you know, it's like a leap of faith. You have to trust yourself. I'm counting correctly. I know you're only throwing a Seed Bomb at me. I'm not going to fall for it, so I'm not. I am not shielding that shit. I have went to school. I have learned to count. I graduated from the Jamie Finn School of Counting, and we do not shield Seed Bombs around here, folks. So hopping into the next battle, guys, as you're seeing, we're seeing some Azu leads, right? This is what I don't mind. I don't mind this. Like, Azu leads, fine. Absolutely fine. I can beat Azu leads with this team. Absolutely no problem whatsoever. Whenever I see absolute fucking rubbish that makes no sense, and it puts me on a 10-game losing streak, I can't cope. I can't cope with that. I really, really can't. So here comes the Galvantula lead. I need to actually look up the counts for this Pokemon. I never remember. At this moment in time, I assumed it was straight free for the lunge, but I know Charjabug is free too for X-Scissor, so I wasn't sure if it was free too, or free, because I know if it's free, I can basically outpace, because we get to the third foul play, 2 turns before they get to the next lunge, right? So this does appear to be the case here. The opponent's not throwing, and they let that move go. In comes Umbreon. This is very, very sticky icky. Oh, the opponent froze the move instantly. I wanted to escape with that move. Maybe I was being a little bit greedy, trying to overfarm too much, because having escaped with a foul play might have been a little bit helpful in this late game here. So we're going to come into a Registeel, hope for the best, right? Hopefully it's just like Azu in the back. That's basically our only win con at this point. We're going to go for a Zapperoo. It takes 2 moves to take out an Umbreon. You might as well go for the debuff in the first time round. Unless you're in minimal health and you just need to get off 2 moves quickly, go straight for the Pokebee. But in general, go for a Zap and then go for a Focus Blast on it. The opponent is whittling us down here. So Umbreon basically can make this match very, very close. They still have a shield. We're going to come into our Lickitung, assuming that they're very weak to Reggie in the back if they're not swapping out. They could have swapped out there very easily. And yeah, we're going to try and basically finish this off with Lickitung. I'm going to go for a Power Whip, because I don't believe a Body Slam's enough. A Power Whip is not quite enough, but I'm hoping I can actually lick down the Umbreon from this range. The opponent's going to go for one more foul play, and they're probably going to look to swap out into something. They're not swapping out, which is a huge mistake by the opponent. And they do come into their Azu. The opponent let me get extra farm, so I'm definitely going to get off 2 Power Whips here. The opponent's looking to be in a very, very tricky position here, because if we get off these 2 Power Whips, actually we go for the Catch and Zap Cannon. I was trying to go for a CMP sack swap here, which would have been absolutely perfect. We get the attack drop. The opponent is still absolutely forced to throw, so this match is going to be getting very, very close. The attack debuff could be quite vital here. Can we get to this Power Whip in time, and is it enough? I think the opponent is 1 or 2 bubbles off the next player off. At this point, I think they're 1 bubble away. Power Whip does not quite KO, but we can lick it down in time, and the opponent basically dies with the move. So a very close game, good games, and I believe that was a very, very positive set right there. We go 5-0 in that set, a huge, huge 5-0. And guys, look at our elo here, all the way up to 2967. This is definitely the highest I've ever been at this point in the season. I've only ever hit Legend in the last week of the season. Even last season, I'd done a huge run, right? It was all the way up over 2900 pretty early in the season. And unfortunately, very similar to this season, I had a massive unlucky streak. And that's kind of what happened again this season. I was on the doorstep of Legend, and unfortunately, I just couldn't hold on to the elo. So because the opponent let me get the damage through, and basically we've got rid of the Skarmory at this stage, it's in Lick Down range or Shadow Claw down range, I decided to just throw in Reggie. I think they should have 2 answers to it if they're leading Skarmory. However, they come into a Charjabug, which is not the most fantastic answer. It does decently well against Reggie. It resists all of the charge moves, but 2 charge moves, all but take it out, leaves it very, very low in the red. So like, this is a decent matchup for Reggie. Overall, it is a winning matchup for Charjabug, but Registeel can definitely just hang in here. Maybe even get a shield, get debuffs, whatever the case may be. Now we're in a pretty decent position. They're debuffed, and we're going to come in and just go for the lick down on this thing. Basically, the Skarmory is more or less in Body Slam range, and we'll look to see what's in the back. Usually it is Whiscash. The opponent comes back into Skarmory, and I'm thinking, okay, should be an easy enough shield, right? Even if it is just the Sky Attack, it's going to do a decent amount of damage. We'll lick it down and come into Sableye. I was pretending I was going for the Snipe, but I of course was going to go for the Shadow Claw down there. I did recognize that they do need some sort of a Lantern answer, so I was predicting Dragonair in the back. We do get to the second foul play, which is very, very clutch here. The opponent will, however, be able to farm us down, but they're pretty close to Body Slam range, and we have 2 Body Slams banged at this stage. So this is looking pretty decent. Now all I need to do is basically save a shield for the Brave Bird. The Skarmory farmed up a lot of energy before the left, so I just basically need to make sure I keep that. We go straight for the Body Slam, not messing about, not getting any lower. We don't need it for charge moves, we just need to lick it the whole way down here. Skarmory is super low. I think they would have got to the move there, so definitely worth saving that shield. At least at the time, I thought that was the win con. Maybe they weren't even getting to the move, but in this next game we get a Whiscash lead. I don't know about you guys, but I am absolutely sick to the back teeth of seeing Whiscash and Skarmory. I swear I've seen those Pokemon in the last 2 days, like Whiscash Skarmory core, like 50 times. It is just absolutely everywhere. So if you're thinking about team building, I would probably consider using a team that core breaks this. Pokemon like Dugong that can beat both of these Pokemon definitely are quite decent picks at the moment. It's one of the main reasons I like using Pokemon like Sableye and Lickitung. They're just very neutral into both of these Pokemon, and it's why I'm a little bit reluctant to use Gligar. After going on my huge drop, I did use a team with Gligar with Poliwrath, which like I said I'll be showcasing tomorrow. Poliwrath is still really good by the way, and Poliwrath is another Pokemon that can sort of break this core a little bit. However, Whiscash just so fine into it. Whiscash really is such a strong Pokemon this season, and I'm sure most of you guys have completed the Spotlight Hour by now, so hopefully you got yourselves a good one. But yeah, Lickitung versus Skarmory, this is quite a close match. If you just shield a Brave Bird, you win it. However, I almost never shield in this matchup. I don't really play for alignment on this team all the time, which if you think about what I actually have on the team, I probably should. However, we've got the Whiscash quite low, we can just come in and absorb the energy. And, you know, hopefully we should be fine here. Scat coming through. I'm not sure why they go for a last minute snipe here. I guess they're looking to try and save the energy. But I'm thinking I can probably just lock on it the whole way down. Sure, I'll have to hit a Mud Bomb, but we will come out with more or less a Focus Blast for whatever comes in. Yeah, pretty much a Focus Blast. Let's see what the opponent wants to do here. I think they actually end up coming back into Skarmory if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they come back in. I come in for the Shadow Claw down, not letting them reach a Brave Bird. And then comes Lantern. Stupidly, I don't throw the Foul Play here. That was a massive mistake. Basically, it takes 2 moves from Registeel to KO Lantern. I wanted to get off the return, and I think I actually reached the return, but I think I like over-tapped. A huge mistake there. Literally, if I win that game, which is very winnable, I am legend already. So that's kind of sickening to watch back, actually. As much as I had some bad luck in the last few days, you do still have to pay attention to what mistakes you're making, and that certainly was a mistake right there. So what I like to do with this lead is just basically CMP them on the Foul Play, trade moves with them. Eventually, I'd PS you. But I think you can generally like 2 shield for this Pokemon, so it is quite good. I think from here we can shield once and farm the whole way down. We can even tank a Scald from here. The opponent's going for Mud Bomb, which is actually the smarter play, which makes me basically force to throw. If they go for Scald, I'm pretty sure I can just farm it down. This will be a Scald, but I think I do live at 1 HP here. Let's have a look. Okay, yeah, we do live it pretty comfortably, and in comes a Skeleturge. So we do have the Lickitung for this. However, all of the charge moves are resisted, but I think in the zeros this should be very comfortable. As you can see here, the Skelly is down to about just above 50% health. They're just into the yellow here, which is 50%. Power Bomb coming through, this will do quite a lot of damage, even though it is resisted, and we should be able to eat any one move here. If the opponent takes me out, I'm perfectly happy with this, because at this point, they're pretty much dry, and I can start going for a lock-on down, which is what I decided to do. I catch the Disarming Voice here, and go for a lock-on down, which I think is quite nice here. Get a nice little bit of an energy lead here. And if it is something like Double Fire, Talonflame in the back, it is Talonflame in the back! Ladies and gents, getting those extra lock-ons was huge. The opponent goes for the catch. Don't think so, buddy. Don't think so. Guys, if you're against a 5-turn move, you just throw in good timing and you don't get caught on. Like, it's simple as that. They've done 2 Incinerates hoping I would throw. Hopping into the next game here, we have a bit of an awkward lead in Charjabug. As you've seen earlier, it does quite well against Reggie. It does quite well against the whole team here. I do believe I win CMP, however, they just IPS me quite a lot here. So I could either try to YOLO return and see if the opponent wants to shield it, or, you know, just go for Foul Plays, which is probably a little bit safer. We do tank the first move, the opponent decides to shield that one up. I think I can get to 2 moves here, so I'm going to try my best to get both shields off the opponent here at the very least. We'll go for 4 and fro on the return. The opponent did not fall for the CMP, so very good play by the opponent here. They do shield it up, and we actually aggro swap into Licky here. I don't know about this one. I think if you're going to sort of play that out, you probably just let it go down. I guess I didn't want them to get extra farm, and the opponent is actually staying in against Licky, so maybe it was best for them not to get the extra moves for him. Yeah, so probably was a little bit better there. In comes Talonflame. This is just tricky, man. If your Sableye goes down in the lead, and you're just basically left with a Lickitung on this, it's looking really rough for you. Talonflame's definitely a very tricky Pokemon with this team. If you catch it in the lead, it's not too bad, but catching it in the back can be very rough. Now, as you can see here, the opponent is actually getting quite low. They do throw the move. That is so lucky. That's so lucky. The opponent, I guess, thought I was going to take them out. We lock on the Talonflame down, and it is a Lantern in the back. Now, in the zeros, I believe this is a win for Registeel. I go for a Zap Cannon. Guys, I don't think I was getting any debuffs here. Maybe I got one this time around. Oh, I did get it this time. I do recall being quite unlucky with the debuffs here, and they come back in with this thing. So this team is triple See, this is what I mean about the fucking stupid teams in this league, bro. It is triple weak to Whiscash, triple weak to any mud boy. This team is absolutely ass, dude. But it's gonna manage to beat my team because, you know, because why not? Like, how are they not seeing Whiscash? You guys have seen, like, I've seen a lot of Whiscash already in this video. No joke, guys, in the last 2 days I've seen it probably 50-60 times. Like, it's almost everywhere. I hate teams like that, guys, that just make absolutely no sense but just beat your team, you know? In comes Sandslash lead. The opponent builds up to the drill run. They just go double Ice Punch in this matchup, and they can't really afford to let a move go. I decide, okay, they let me get off the move, they didn't go straight for the Ice Punch, so I would much rather take this damage on Lickitung, try to farm something down with Sableye, and look to come out with energy for the Sandslash. Also, the opponent's down a shield, and they come into a Jellicent. The opponent is obviously very, very core broken by Lickitung. Could this be like Sandslash double Ghost or something? The first move goes through, and we're almost at the second one. The opponent's in a bit of a shambles here. Surf coming through, they only get off one more Surf we farm up right before they get to the move here. I don't think Body Slam would have been quite enough, I didn't want to take the risk, and yeah, we just take it out with the Power Whip there. The opponent's thinking long and hard about what to come into, and they come into an Azu. Can we get to this Power Whip? We do. Licky too thicky, man, Licky too thicky. This Power Whip will get them around half. Yeah, it puts them into Zap Cannon range, which is all we really need here. The opponent instantly top lefts, knowing that 2-to-1 shields, Registeel absolutely destroys Sandslash. Sandslash only really does well in even shields, and we do manage to win that match. So we do go 3-2 in that set. I don't think I could have won that last game, you know, the one that I sort of made the mistake in, but we're up very, very high, guys. We're on the doorstep of Legend here, basically. 29-82, and we get a very, very bad lead here. We're going to swap straight into Lickitung, and the opponent actually stays in here, which is quite interesting. What I've noticed is, whenever they have a Charm in the lead, they don't have a great answer to Licky. So, perhaps if they have a Charm lead, you come straight into Reggie, but they should have a Reggie answer, so you probably just come into Licky and just kind of force them to stay in. The opponent comes into an opposing Lickitung. I'm not sure why they didn't just do like 4 Charms and then come into their own Licky here. That would have made a lot more sense. But Lickitung, kind of awkward for this team as well, because we have our own Lickitung and we have a hard answer in Reggie. But yeah, a little bit awkward. I'm going to let this Body Slam go, and I think I'm going to look to probably hold on to some sort of alignment here. I think I wanted to bank the Body Slam and leave. Unfortunately, the opponent would not allow it to happen, so that's unfortunate. We're going to come into our Registeel here, and basically look to go for a huge overfarm. A Zap Cannon lock-on down would be absolutely fantastic here. Pretty much from full health, 2 Zap Cannons more or less take it out. So if you undercharge the second Zap Cannon to like a nice or a great, you probably get a farm down. We do get a nice little farm down here. I could have probably done a little bit better with that one. I'm still working on my sort of Zap Cannon farm downs here, but back in comes Lantern. Now this is quite interesting. Reggie has got a lot of work to do. So they had Charm in the lead, they have Lantern. This is awkward, guys. We do get the debuff here, which is pretty helpful, and I decide to come into my Sableye here. Now I will reach a return with the Sableye, my IVs are good enough, and this will basically take out the Ninetales. Now pretty much what I need to do is, yeah, get off a Focus Blast on this. However, the Lantern's already got energy, so I kind of have to save the energy, and this is just super, super awkward. This is just over, unfortunately. I decided to go for 0 Bubbles Zap Cannon. Not really going to make a difference. We do get a lock on down here, but the opponent's had a move already. I just need to lock on this down and come out with the move, but I just don't think this is going to be enough at this point, guys. We're on 1 HP, and we just top left the match, so good games. Pretty hard RPS win, or loss there, sorry. In comes Whiscash. I do think this is technically a good match for Whiscash, but you can play it out. And you basically just hope that Registeel's free in the back once you've seen the Whiscash in the lead. I mean, I've seen this with Fire in the back, so, you know, that's just the nature of the Great League right now. Fire, water, grass, you know, but Mud Boy double fire. It's just so brain dead at the minute, guys. I honestly can't stand it. I think I might start playing more Ultra League because I think it's a little bit more playable. We can eat a Scald from here, but I decide not to. They're going to get to this next move at the same time as us in 5. I decided to overfarm. I thought the opponent would go for a catch here. They do not, but as we've established, we do live a Scald from this thing. So I'm still looking for this catch. I decided to go for the big return, just to absolutely guarantee the KO, because the opponent did get the attack debuffs, and that does take them out. They come in with Skarmory, we come in with Sir Reginald. What do they have in the back? They're staying in here, and they just instantly top left. So yeah, as soon as we took out the Mud Boy, that was basically good games for them. Hopping into the next battle, guys, 29-82 elo. We're up against another Legend player here. Sableye versus Deoxys, a fantastic lead here. I barely see any Deoxys anymore. The opponent comes into an Umbreon, so this is looking pretty good and pretty RPS for the victory here. If I can get another couple of these battles, I'm basically Legend, right? So we're going to go for the Zappery first, before they get to the next move. Try to minimize the damage here as much as possible. We do get the debuff, which is fantastic. And I think, actually, looking at this, I think you probably could go for 2 Zap Cannons and a farm down. Umbreon is such a good Pokemon though, it can get the Registeel quite low. The these are neutral moves. Umbreon's very, very thick, and you know, it takes quite a while to get to these zap cannons. So I decided I'm not going to mess about with it. I probably should still get to a zap on the Deoxys at this health range. So this should be perfectly fine. In comes DD. I could have potentially saved my Reggie, like come into Licky here, but I do get off the zap cannon. I think I'm fairly satisfied with that, and I will be happy enough for that to go down. Now, of course, we bring back in the Sableye here. The opponent farmed up to above a Thunderbolt, so they're going to basically go for a chip and dip here at this point. Yep, Thunderbolt coming through, and they come into this thing. This is not easy. Now, I make a mistake here. I go for the return. That was a little bit... I don't know. They're only going to shield that. Like, there's no way they don't shield that. Maybe I could have come into the Licky for, you know, straight away. I didn't really know what to do with this thing. I shield up the first move and they get a debuff as well. So we're just sort of in shambles. It's kind of the golden rule not to shield the first one. We're just kind of in shambles here. This is just an awkward team. If I still had my Reggie alive, this would be so good. But unfortunately, like, I just had no other answer to Umbreon except for Reggie. So I couldn't really stand with Sableye. The opponent swaps out, gets the farm down with Deoxys. My only hope here is basically to shield and farm down, but yeah, I don't know why I'm still playing this out. The opponent has a move on Guzzlord, so yeah, this is basically good games. So GG's that last match. It was a very, very awkward backline for me. Even though we won lead, the backline was just very, very awkward. I needed Registeel to be in two places at once. If I somehow recognised that it would be Guzzlord, which it's a hard call to make, those Deoxys teams, they can be literally anything in the back. So by like swapping into, you know, Lickitung, I could end up getting myself, you know, put in a bad position, but I think that might have been the play. Just aggro swap into Licky whenever the Deoxys comes back, because Licky actually can't deal with Deoxys, like it doesn't really care about it. But in this next match here, we have a Talonflame lead. If the opponent does not throw in fully optimal timing, you get off free foul plays here. We do get it off, and we do manage to take it out. Whenever it's a Talonflame lead, I try my best to RPS the back line, because there's always crap like this in the back. So in comes Whiscash, in comes Lickitung, we can one-shot it with Power Whip. The opponent will go for a Scald here. If they get the debuff, they will, I think, survive the move. But probably from this health range, probably not. We have got them low enough. And look at this Whiscash putting in work, man. This is such a strong Pokemon in this meta. I'm over farming, expecting a catch. They do not go for it. And we're going to look to go for a Power Whip here. Yep, they survive it after 2 debuffs, which is kind of just insane to me that Mudboys live in a Power Whip. We hopefully can get the lock-on down. It's Cresselia. The opponent aggro swaps. And this should basically be curtains. Once again, this is a Pokemon that you can go for 2 zap cannons. You don't have to undercharge. And you get a farm down with this, so this is basically curtains for the opponent. I do quite like this team. I do like Cresselia in the back, but this thing does absolutely nothing to Reggie, and I think the opponent pretty much should be top lefting at this point. But yeah, this is a guaranteed victory. Good games well played. I don't think the Whiscash actually gets to a move, but with this Zap Cannon here, we do get a farm down. You know, in looking at that, if you want to get a little bit of extra farm, just leave off like 4 or 5 bubbles, farm it the whole way down, and you come out with the move. I don't think the thing's getting to a move, so we're basically chilling, yeah, because they just threw all of their energy on the Lickitung. Good games well played, and we're going to hop into this final battle here. Guys, at this point we need the 4-1, we need the big 4-1 for Legend, but unfortunately we're trying to just clutch out the free 2 here. I decide to throw on 10 for good timing, and the opponent's on 7 bubbles. I'm going to look to do 1 more, and then go for the swap into Licky. The opponent builds up all the way to 9 bubbles. 9 bubbles is the maximum amount of energy that they can build up to. They throw 7 there, do an extra couple of bubbles, and they don't swap out, which is kind of weird. So I'm like, right, okay, buddy, Azu double ghost, okay, this is exactly what I want to see with this team. This team does very, very well into Azu double ghost. Play rough coming through. We're going to look to commit to the Power Whip. The opponent comes into Sableye. They're going to end up eating this move. However, the Lickitung is getting quite low, so this is a little bit awkward. I do know that it's Trevenant in the back, so I'm just going to come in with my Registeel here. Basically look to go for a Focus Blast or a Zap Cannon. I can even shield up 1 move here if I want to, because Registeel into Trevenant is not that bad. The opponent will get off another foul play here. Yeah, I decided to let this all through, which completely makes sense. If we can get the opponent's final shield here and even get a debuff, we can basically Shadow Quad the whole way down. Foul play the Trevenant, and that's basically good games, right? The opponent lets that through. I think they probably had to try and shield the Sableye, but being down 2 shields there is just absolutely rough. I go straight for the foul play. The opponent probably is not on track with my energy here. I'm expecting them to go for a catch on like 6 or something, right? So like, I was not expecting them to go for a catch immediately. We're going to shield this move, very, very easy shield. The Azu is super low, and I don't think they're getting to a move yet. Oh, actually they do get to a move. So we're basically going to shield this up, farm it the whole way down, and basically come out with a foul play for the Trevenant. Good games well played, guys. And yeah, we're going to have a look at this final set here. We get it all the way up to 29.97. Maybe, just maybe, I could have won one of those games if I somehow made a call, but I don't think I really misplayed. I think it just really came down to a call. I think the one mistake was probably not getting off the foul play, but in looking back at it, I just didn't have enough health Even if I had have done that perfectly, it just wasn't going to help out. But guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the team. I'm not sure how well it's going to work now, because from what I can tell, like, it's not working that well anymore. But, you know, I don't know. I honestly, guys, I don't know if this team is good or not. If you're not seeing just absolute crap, maybe it's a good team. But hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time.